Welcome to this week's episode of Tenure Talks, where we interview battle-tested procurement professionals that have the scars to prove it. We ask the same 5 questions every week, providing you with chewable bits of expertise. I'm your host, Katie McEwen, the procurement girl, representing Bidops, where we enable procurement teams to predict and win faster value from abundant possibilities. We host procurement meetups all around the nation. Please look for local meetups at bidops.com for events coming to a town near you. I'm so excited to introduce you all to our rockstar guest today. It's Tom Luther. He's the client director at Acliviti. Thank you so much for joining the show today, Tom.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your current role.
Yeah, so I always like to start personal. I'm based here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Certainly Acliviti is a globally based firm that I support, but I call Cincinnati home. I always like to start on a personal note. I have 5 children and a wonderful wife. So life certainly keeps me hopping on a personal front. We absolutely love the outdoors, love sports, love everything about watching, coaching sports, and just being active with my kids. So that's a little bit about me on a personal front. On a professional front, you mentioned the word grizzled veteran. I would say that absolutely describes my background with contact center. I've spent my entire career in the contact center space. 14 years as a director, VP, and or general manager of global-based contact centers, both in-house and outsourced third-party contact centers globally. So certainly I've cut my teeth and seen it all as it pertains to the customer journey, and overall just call center. And then prior to joining Acliviti, I actually ran my own customer journey map / contact center improvement consulting firm, the Thomas Luther Group. I've been the client director at Acliviti for going on 9 months, where I spend pretty much every waking minute, trying to help world-class firms take their customer experience to the next level. So we simply put, Acliviti helps firms make the transition from a premise-based contact center solution to a cloud-based contact center solution. We help you through the analysis, the discovery process, the evaluation, ultimately the selection and implementation of your contact center as a service selection. So every brand needs an improvement in CX. Many know they need to do it. They just don't know how to do it. They're a little fearful to do it. And we're here to help with the plan and ultimately the delivery of that plan. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, and making sure that plan is successful. Because with everything with risk today, making sure that you've got a partner that's really going to guide you down that path, that's so crucial. So yeah, it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of great work. That's really exciting. So Tom, 5 kids. I can't even imagine. And you're balancing this big job. So you've got a lot of battle scars. You've got a lot of experience. There had to have been a lot of people in your path that really mentored you and fed into you. Is there a mentor that really, or a coach possibly, that comes top of mind for you?
There are countless people that we could talk about. I think that one person that really stands out professionally to me was a former CEO. He just ingrained the importance to me about servant leadership. And for those that are unfamiliar with servant leadership is, you have your traditional organizational pyramid, right, where your typical C-suite are at the top. He believed in the inverted pyramid, right, where those C-level folks were at the bottom of the pyramid. And really what that represents is focus on the front line, focus on the people that have the hardest jobs. Sometimes your janitorial members, your frontline staff, if we're talking about contact center, those are the most important people in the organization. You can never forget that as a leader. They are the heartbeat of the organization and need to be treated as such. And I think so often executives get so busy in, am I meeting my quarterly numbers, large corporate initiatives, that they forget about the people that are doing the job. And he really ingrained in me, Tom, and again, as you're running contact centers, and I mentioned those folks are your lifeblood. Those people have the hardest jobs in the business. They're signing up every day to take phone calls from typically unhappy customers of some way, shape, or form, right? So it's important you don't lose sight that they're handling your most precious treasure, and that you believe in them, right? He made a statement, and we've all heard it, right? People don't quit their job, they quit their boss. And that's always resonated with me when I think about the concept of servant leadership. How would I be perceived as their leader? So I've just always prided myself on being transparent, respectful, and taking the time to really get to know them and something they're passionate about, right? Stopping by Susie's desk and saying, how was your son's football game this weekend? Some leaders probably don't take the time to know that she has kids that are in sports. And just having that interpersonal connection and really leading through and genuinely, I think being passionate about servant leadership is applicable to every job at every level. So it's just something that I've taken with me throughout.
And I mean, is there anything more crucial than making your people feel valued and respected and appreciated? And that's exactly what servant leadership does. It puts them on that pedestal, makes them feel supported and encouraged, so they can go out there and be successful. So that's wonderful. And I'm sure that that's translated well at home with raising 5 children, that servant leadership, really, supporting them to do whatever they were called to do. So that's really neat.
Yeah, it is. I think that's the greatest compliment that you can be given as a leader and or a parent, is that the people that you impact mimic your behavior, right? And so when our children are recognized for being kind and caring, to me, that means just as much as if they won a trophy at their game, right? So, that's when you're doing it right. And if you practice it in your personal life, then it becomes natural in your professional life. So I've always been a big fan of it.
Yeah, no masks. You're transparent and on both sides. So that's so awesome. So what do you think? Because you're definitely in this technology space, and you're exposed to a lot of different services, different technologies. What is the most innovative thing you're seeing right now in the space?
I think that's a great question. I think it's an important question. I think we're all very sick and tired of the pandemic, right? I think that's a statement we all can agree with. So I'll maybe take a slight twist on that. Is what is most important from what am I seeing in terms of the post-pandemic business priority, right? And really it comes down to 2 things. Improving customer experience now more than ever, right? Now that, the customer experience has changed. It's no longer being able, at least last year, to go out to the store to buy your product, focus on e-commerce. And the digital customer experience has changed forever. I really do genuinely mean forever. And then growing top line revenue. I mean, those 2 top things should always be top of mind, but how companies are going to be addressing that in a post-pandemic world, I think is something that we need to all take shape of and make sure that we have plans for. Specifically, the pandemic has forced contact centers to accelerate their digitization, automation, AI strategy to react to what I think they would call ballooning interaction, right? These technologies have helped companies automate repetitive tasks and proactively engage with those customers, allowing the customer service agents to handle complex interactions that require empathy. So essentially, it's taking some of the mundane call and automating that, right? I mean, I don't think AI is a stranger to anybody, but I think companies that are doing AI really well are saving themselves, improving the experience while saving themselves quite a bit of money by automating those to robotic tasks. Digital technologies to best interact with customers or on their terms. I think that's an important statement. Companies are transitioning customers to digital channels from your traditional interactive voice response by layering digital first solutions for things like chat, messaging, and voice onto their existing communication methods. It's super important. I mean, today's customer, I'm sure you're in the same boat. I know I am. My mom and dad, they'll always call a call center forever and always, right? They want to talk to a human being. Depending on who you are and your comfortability, maybe you want to be a self-service person. Maybe you want to go out and find content online, helpful videos and articles before calling a call center or before chatting with a call center or even texting with a call center. I mean, we've got a lot of brands that are diving into video chat more than ever, right? So talk about a pressure situation for the customer service rep. You're on video now with a customer, right? So, but at the end of the day, it's about meeting the customer where they want to be met, when they want to be met, in the manner that they want to be met. So back to the digitization and automation, the conversations we're having, trying to help companies make their digital transformation seamless, they're happening faster than ever. This might have been a 23 thing and then from a 2023 budget, how fast it's been moved up to 2022 based on the impacts of the pandemic has had on their business. So, yeah.
And the opportunity to choose those things that you want to automate, give the customer the option to choose. This is how I want to communicate. This is what I'm the most comfortable with. Because that's what it's all about, right? Is cherry picking what's best for you. Because it's 2021. We can do that now. So it's pretty awesome.
It is. And I firmly believe for all the procurement professionals out there that their contact centers will continue to invest in diverse self-service technologies, knowledge management, for curated content, as I mentioned, those self-service knowledge bases, and then communities for peer-generated content, right? Today's consumer wants to be informed and, again, met where they want to be met when they want to be met. And companies have to be ready to provide those mediums for them. So it's may not be a specific innovative technology, but it's certainly a trend that I see everybody getting on the boat with faster than I think they expected.
Yes, it's definitely something that we need to keep our eyes on for sure. So, Tom, what's one unique thing about you that maybe the community here doesn't really know about?
I don't think a lot of people know this other than family, but one interesting thing I would say about me is that deep in the Luther lineage and family tree lies Martin Luther. And I think most people know Martin Luther. He was a famous German professor of theology, author, composer. He was obviously a monk. He is best known to be really the seminal figure behind the Lutheran religion, Lutheranism. That is down in the deep family trees. It's been tracked all the way back. We have family reunions, and we've had my family members track that all the way back to his livelihood in the 1500s. But somewhere along the lines, the family broke off towards Catholicism, which is what we practice. But nonetheless, it's a pretty cool story.
That is I've got chills. That's so cool. I mean, what a small world, right? I mean,
yeah,
he did so much for our faith. Sure. I mean, yeah, that's amazing. That's almost as cool as being related to the Apostle Paul or something. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's certainly unique. I had to do the research myself to believe it, but yeah, it's certainly a fact.
That is so cool. Yeah. And to be able to tell your kids, that's where you came from. Look what he did, for us and for our faith. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
So what's one piece of advice that you would give to folks that would like to see some of the success that you've been able to see in this space?
I don't like to boil it down ever to be too simple in life, but for me, it's network. I've met so many amazing and talented people in all geographies, industries, walks of life over the years that have been willing to give of their time to pass, I think, some lessons of mentorship, friendship along the lines. And it gets back to that servant leadership comment I made earlier. I think it's just important to give of yourself, give of your time to those more senior and those that are still coming up the ranks. I made a goal for myself a few years ago to get at least a cup of coffee at least twice a month with someone new. It could have been a professional connection. It could have been a personal introduction someone made, just to continue to ensure that your network is as deep and broad as possible. You can never have enough good friends, enough good business connections in today's world. And I think it's just passing it forward, right? Passing forward your knowledge, your time. People always say, I don't know how to get involved in life, and it's easy, right? Go out and volunteer, get involved in your community, whether you're a coach or you're doing community service. That's a way to network too. And you never know how that can help your professional pursuits as well. I've been amazed to everybody. You hear the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? It's, everybody, I think, genuinely does follow that. Somebody knows somebody that knows somebody. So I would just say, continue to network, meet new people, understand different perspectives, and they're all positive things that can tie back to your professional success.
Yes, that's so powerful. And knowing that you can always meet someone that you need to learn something from.
Absolutely.
And that's such a cool part about the servant leadership is when you meet with people that maybe, aren't on the C level that you are, you're going to learn something from that person. You're going to grow in your role too. And never when you sacrifice, you're going to come away empty. You're going to come away very full. So I think that's a great, great lesson to pass down to the youngsters coming up wanting to get into the space. So really appreciate that. Really appreciate all of your expertise. It's wonderful and so welcomed here. Thanks for being a part of Procurement Foundry. We're so grateful for you. And thank you for everyone that tuned in today. This was a great show. It was great getting to hear your expertise. We really appreciate it. Everybody go out there and have a very blessed week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Take care.